A lot of golfers want to see something different from their ball flight. Maybe they want to see more of a draw, more of a fade. They want to hit it higher, they want to hit it lower. And they end up making some pretty big changes to their swing sometimes in an effort to manipulate that. Well, today I thought I would do a little test on the Trackman to show you just how much of a difference it can make to simply move the ball placement in your stance. I have the 101T 8 iron. It's got a KBS Tour R110 shaft in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with the ball position, show you guys the numbers, and hopefully this shows you that even just moving the ball position can make a pretty big difference in your golf game. All right, first things first, I'm gonna hit a few shots with my standard ball placement, which for me, with an 8 iron, just about middle of the stance, maybe a little bit back of middle, but kind of fairly neutral. It's not way back and it's not way forward. So that's what I'm gonna start with. I'll get those numbers on the screen and then we'll start moving the position around a little bit. It's important to note that I'm not a robot, so all these swings won't be exactly identical, but my goal is to try to make the same swing for all of these different ball positions. All right, I got 5 shots with the standard ball placement, middle of the stance. You can see here just a little draw on these. Carry 167, let's see, height 104. So club path is 2 degrees into out, face path -2 to the path. So pretty neutral, kind of exactly what I'm looking for. So now let's switch over to putting the ball placement more in the back of my stance and try to hit some shots and see how much of a difference it makes. Hey, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, right now would be a fantastic time to click that button in the corner. All right, so I'm trying to put the golf ball maybe a ball or so further back in my stance. Any further back and it looks like I'm not really even gonna hit it. So just a little further back in my stance, more kind of how I would maybe place a wedge. So that's probably the thought I need to have with this. Really no surprise here. Ball further back in the stance, attack angle goes up by a little over a degree. The height of the shots comes down a couple feet. Club path comes into out more. It's a little further back in the stance, which means it's a little earlier on in that arc. Carry goes up. Swing speed went up a bit. I think it's partially because when it's further back, I feel like I had to really get down on it more. And maybe I was just giving it a little bit of extra effort for that reason. Also could be I'm a little more warmed up, but it's a couple miles an hour faster. But you can see very different ball flights. All right, now let's go forward in the stance to see what that looks like. All right, so for this one, same idea. We're gonna try to go more like a ball forward in my stance. Feels like I'm almost reaching forward at the ball, which I think is gonna force me to really think about getting forward and through the shot, or I'm gonna thin it. So that's kind of interesting immediate reaction to this. I mean, it definitely feels like I'm hitting more up on the ball. Immediately first shot, you can see this is going higher. Interesting. All right, here we go. Ooh, that was the concern. That was the miss. I was worried about just thinning it. Actually didn't do too bad considering just how poor that strike was. All right, one more good strike and then we'll look at some numbers. Interesting. Okay, let's look at some numbers. All right, let's start with the standard ball position. We've got 167 yards of carry, 172 total, 6,800 spin, 104 height. But here's I think the main thing that's gonna start to show some of the differences. You got the attack angle is 5.5 degrees down, club path 2.7, face to path negative 2.4. So now let's look at the one where I move the ball back. attack angle immediately jumps up to 0.6. Club path also goes more into out, face to path more closed, so you have more of a right to left shot, and it's a lower ball flight by a couple of feet. The distance went up. Again, club head speed was a little bit higher on that one versus the standard, couple miles an hour. So, but it did go further. Spin rate dropped down a little bit. Now the forward ball position, everything just was starting more left. I think as it was coming across the club path, you can see here, it went from in to out to now out in by basically nothing, but the club face was still a little bit closed to that, so the ball started left. It didn't do a whole lot, you know, some slight pulls, I guess you would call it, which you would just adjust for, right, with the setup. With carry 167, total 169, spin rate jumped up a couple hundred, height 124. So if we look at all of these together, honestly, pretty interesting. Pretty interesting stuff. Forward ball position would have been on average a little bit shorter carry if the club head speed was the same again, but it just goes significantly higher, 20 feet higher than standard ball position and 24 feet higher than ball position in the back. So, all right, last thing I want to look at is actually here. It's the flights, and you can see really the difference. It's really showcases just how much difference there is with the ball placement. So forward, higher, stops a little faster. Back, got a lower, kind of more piercing ball flight. Middle, more consistent, because obviously that's what I'm most comfortable with, so you would expect it to be a bit more consistent. But honestly, forward, not bad either. Fairly consistent, couple variations. But yeah, very interesting information. All right, get in the comments, let me know if you like to change up the ball position when you play, or if this is something that maybe opened your eyes to some things you can try out on the golf course, out on the range. I mean, if you have an issue where you're hitting the ball with more of a draw than you want, yes, obviously you can adjust your swing, but also just moving the ball placement a little further forward in your stance is going to encourage that club path to be a little bit less in to out at impact, and that might help you fix the issue right there. Or vice versa, if you have a problem where you're hitting the ball more out to the right, then maybe moving the ball further back in your stance, staying down on it more, is actually going to get that ball moving a little less left to right, maybe even a touch of a draw. So it's pretty interesting information here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more videos like this, get in the comments, let me know. As always, thank you for watching. I will see you on the next one.